Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Real Life Gaze, the podcast that discusses and educates people on topics and issues relating to the LGBTQ plus community. My name is Gareth, and I am joined by...
My name is Lee.
Lee. So a quick reminder to make sure you're following us on all of our socials, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Real Life Gaze. But for more information and for links to these socials, visit our very own website, reallifegaze.com. This week's episode, we are discussing a topic that every person can relate to, and that is body image. Now, in order to have a proper discussion about this, we have invited on a very special guest. They joined us last year on our YouTube show, but they're back to join us on the podcast. Please welcome the fabulous Shyanne O'Shea. Shyanne, how are you?
I'm very good. How are you?
Fabulous. All better for seeing your lovely face.
Bless you. Now it's all tight and perfect.
Now, when Shyanne joined us last year, it was to talk about life as a drag queen. This time, it's to discuss all things body image. But the reason I felt you would be perfect for this episode, Shyanne, is the fact that you have recently undergone quite a few cosmetic procedures. And we will get into that a bit later on. But for now, though, can you just give our listeners just a brief introduction to yourself?
My name is Shyanne O'Shea. I live in Southend-on-Sea in Essex, and I do drag, I do wigs, I do basically everything but women. And I've like linked to this whole story as I'm now becoming a representative in the UK for medical services in Turkey. So that's my new little thing. So the contracts were signed 2 days ago. I've now gone in partnership with a guy that lives in Turkey, and yeah, so business ahoy! There we go.
Wow, that's amazing. Yeah, that's so exciting. Well, again, that'll tie into what we're going to discuss later. So when you were on our YouTube show, it was all about life as a drag performer. So as a drag artist, how important is your image? Because surely it's all about the way you look.
It's I think over the years that I've seen other drag queens that haven't concentrated so much on their look because they're not like their aesthetic isn't what is their selling point. With me, my image and just my whole persona walking through the door, that is my selling point, and you know, especially to boys. Oh yeah, I have a lot of fun with boys in my body image. So it depends on your unique selling point to each individual drag queen. So before I honestly thought it was all about look, but when you see people like, for example, Bailey Mills, she's not polished. She doesn't want to be polished. That's her thing. That is the way she wants to portray herself. So it's different for each person. I just fall into the category of I love a look.
So I know this episode isn't necessarily about drag, but can you describe what drag means to you?
Well, drag has turned into everything for me. Like it's every aspect of my life. Oh, you've seen my flat behind me. Do you know what I mean? Like I can't get away from it. It's like chlamydia. It's everywhere. But yeah, it's like I've explored every depth of drag and I've embraced it. I've made money from it. I'm still making money from it. And I've met so many amazing people that I wouldn't change it for the world. And I've got so many more amazing people to meet yet as well. And my journey hasn't ended here. So it means the world to me, to be fair. So yeah, the world.
But you're clearly ambitious with it as well. And I think, am I right in saying in order to be successful in the drag industry, you have to have proper ambition. Otherwise it just doesn't work.
Yeah, complete ambition, a complete focus on, it's not a case of just getting up and performing because somebody else is going to come along and do a better job or do a different job, and they're going to be like better and stuff like that. So you need to always be, and COVID must have taught other people this because it did with me. Like I was so fortunate that I had my hand dipped in wigs. So when the performing stopped, I was able to keep my career going with other things and still meeting other people that way. So yeah, I think you need to keep your eyes open with it all and keep on moving with the times. And drag has changed, and my drag, weirdly enough, went from wearing more or less nothing to wearing everything. Like I was just like padded and double wigged and breastplate and everything. And all of a sudden my wig, my whole persona's changed. My look has changed and I've gone reverted back the other way. And I'm wearing human hair wigs. I've always got my legs out, which is a killer because I've got to shave them all the bloody time. So I've gone for more of a natural look.
Your boy and drag, which one do you feel more comfortable in?
Drag.
Why?
Yeah, I don't know. I feel better now that I've had the work that I've had done as a boy. But once my hair's back, then I'll feel much better. But I just found it really hard to be on social media. Even like, I don't know, like I was working behind the scenes doing hairdressing and stuff behind the scenes of London Fashion Week. I got thrown out onto the catwalk because one of the models didn't turn up and happened to be the same height as me and same size. So I got thrown out there. So I got thrown in there and I was modelling and doing loads of bits and pieces. But then I just started to age and I started to notice it. So I started to hide behind the camera. And now I've started to come out again and get in front of the camera.
Was this a boy you who went on the stage, or was this a Shyanne?
Yeah, it was a boy me.
Okay.
I got London Fashion Week. I think it was 2010. I was up in West India Quays in London, and I was doing hair, and a model didn't turn up. He was stuck in traffic, couldn't get there. They were like, "Gary, throw this on." That's my boy name, by the way. I've let it out now. Gary, throw this on, blah, blah, blah. And it was this amazing suit from someone from Savile Row called Andrew Dowie. And he was designing for Burberry. And it was just amazing. And it was just surreal, like getting kicked out onto that catwalk. I was hairdressing a couple of minutes ago and now I'm walking on the catwalk for London Fashion Week. That was years ago. But yeah, as I said, like I started to have all these photo shoots and I started to see myself aging and it just freaked me out, especially as a gay guy. It was like, you know, you're practically dead at the age of 40. Do you know what I mean? Like no one wants you. Not unless you're a bear or something like that. Which
Did you hear that, Lee? Lee, nobody wants you know you're 40. I mean, I think everyone experiences a bit of this, and especially what you've just mentioned already. But body image issues, I'm guessing you've had a few.
I've had loads. So I grew up in the 90s. So Lee, I don't know what age you are, but I'm 42, mate, this year. So I might be a bit older than you. But growing up in the 90s, it's like the whole supermodel thing gets drummed into you, and even you don't even realize it's happening, but it gets drummed into you that having any kind of body fat is wrong, having any kind of disfiguration to your face or anything like that, that's wrong. You know, everyone was so perfect and they were beautiful to look at, and it was amazing because they were superstars in the 90s, but subliminally it gets programmed into you that it is wrong. So growing up, I was quite overweight in school. I was about a 42-inch waist at my biggest. I hit the bulimia route. I was just like, I had a massive eating disorder at the age of 18, I think it was. I dropped 10 stone within about 6 months. It was I just didn't eat. The only thing my body craved was salt and vinegar Pringles because my body was lacking in salt, but you can't throw up a Pringle. So my body was craving that all the time. So I was living off that, but I just got so ill. So I dropped down so much. I ended up in hospital. And since then, my weight's always fluctuated. But where I've always had loose skin from losing the weight so much, I could wear a size 30-inch trousers. But because I've got this loose skin, it would always look like I had this level of fat over the top. But it wasn't. It was just skin. But I knew what it looked like. So it just got me down a lot. So there was the body side of it. I've always been funny about, I'd never go swimming without a t-shirt on. Just didn't like anyone touching me. My t-shirt would always be left on when I was having sex. Anything like that, just didn't like anyone seeing it. Even myself, all my mirrors used to be at a level up, so I'd never see my body. So absolutely hated it. So thought I'd do something about it. So yeah,
was that bad? Okay.
Yeah.
So I mean, I thought you were a lot younger. I thought you were around about my age. So congratulations.
And
So-
your ages.
I'm 30, going to be 33 this month.
Oh,
in
get
April.
in there. I'll tell my surgeon. He'll be very happy.
10 years
So-
younger.
I mean, the fact that you were a little bit older in the 90s was dreadful with, what was portraying was the ideal body image.
Yeah.
It's bad enough now in the, growing up in the 90s and even now, but the 90s was rife with it.
Yeah.
So I didn't know that a lot of things are starting to make sense now.
There we go.
You've mentioned your surgeon. Can you talk us through all the work that you've had done from the past and your most recent procedures?
Okay, so in 2020, just before the lockdown happened, I had a tummy tuck in Poland. Then I woke up in my hospital room, and the pandemic had hit, so I couldn't get home. I got trapped in Poland.
Oh gosh!
So the English embassy didn't want to know getting us home at all. They were useless. And I hope you're listening to this podcast, embassy. So we ended up, me and a few other patients, we ended up getting home with the Polish army. They were the ones that got us back. But I got an infection on the way home. So I caught MRSI and all my stitches on my side just burst open. So that was interesting, having a hole in your side for a while. Yeah, so that was good. So that was that. And then I went to Turkey in January, just gone. Originally booked in to have a hair transplant. And then E4 wanted to do a program following me about my tummy tuck story. So I was like, okay, cool. So I was like, I'm going to get my tummy tuck fixed because my scar was as thick as my thumb. It was really unsightly. So I thought, right, I'm going to get that fixed. I'm going to get a hair transplant. While I'm there, wonder what this would cost. And then I find out that it's the more you get done, the cheaper it is. I was like, okay, quid's in. So I've been saving for a while, and I just thought, sod it. So I ended up having, on the Friday, I had a full hair transplant. That took 8 hours to get done. So I had all that done, which is all starting to grow back now. Then the next day I had my tummy tuck fixed and lengthened. So I had it going around my sides to get rid of my love handles. So that's completely done, and I'm super tight and small there now. Then I had a cheek lift, jawline lift, neck lift, eye lift, eyelids removed and then piece taken out and stitched back up. I had a nose job, a lip lift, and a chin implant.
Wow.
Ooh.
I mean, I was one of those people, Shyanne, watching your lives on Facebook. So when you posted up, I was in shock at some of the sites. I was like, wow, you look like you've just been beaten up with a baseball bat. I felt so bad for you. And I thought, why would you do this to yourself? But it healed so quick.
Yeah.
I remember like 2 weeks later, I was like, what? It was crazy. But showing your room in the hospital was like, wow. It was proper 5-star treatment.
Yeah, and I had a star on my door, didn't I? Did you see that?
I did,
with my drag name on there, and my surgeon bought me gifts for when I woke up. So I had like this camera thing on the side, and he brought me in Turkish Delight, and he brought me in a Starbucks every day, and it was just really, really lovely. Like it was a 5-star treatment. It was amazing. Yeah. But yeah, there's certain things I didn't put up because I'd get banned. But 2 days after my surgery, once they took the catheter out, you just want your own like independence when you're going to the loo and stuff. So I went to the loo, and once I had a wee, my blood sugar dropped so low, I passed out, caught my face on the side of the shower room door and lifted it completely off, and it flapped over.
Oh.
Yeah, so I could see my temple here with this eye because it had flapped over. So my skull is a little bit more in depth on that side, just down there.
Oh, yeah.
But so I remember them coming in, going, right, get him back on morphine, get him down to the theatre ASAP. I was shitting it. So scared. So that was that. But yeah, I just had so much done. So I was 9 hours in theatre having all this work done. And there was times when I caught a glimpse of myself in the mirror and I was like, have I had a reaction to something? Because it was like, when models and that go, oh, I'm having some cat eye surgery, and they show themselves like 2 weeks later when they've got a little bit of bruising. I look like an emoji. It was
You
like,
did. You
I was
did. And I
literally,
thought, oh my gosh, what has he done?
it was like self-harm to another level, wasn't it? It was just, but yeah.
And how painful was it?
It was weird because everything just felt super tight, like because of the swelling as well. Like even my skin was flaking because it couldn't produce its natural oils, so it was just drying up and flaking everywhere. It was just really uncomfortable more than anything. So because I had the hair transplant done, they took the donor hair from the back of the head, so I wasn't allowed to lay down flat. I couldn't lay to the side because I had the facelift, so the scarring on the sides. So I think I must have had about 4 nights of complete insomnia, and it was just upsetting and draining and just really, really hard. So I had a couple of days in my hotel after the hospital, just breaking down in tears. I was like,
no wonder.
pieces, yeah.
And how long were you there for?
I was there. I went on the Friday. No, that's a lie. Sorry. I went on the Tuesday because I got to the airport 2 days early because I'm dyslexic. I saw the T in Tuesday and saw the day and just thought it was Tuesday, but it wasn't. It was meant to be Thursday. So I got there early and then my surgery's on the Friday. I must have left the following Friday, I think. The following Sunday, because my friend Luna picks me up. And when she picked me up, I literally just fell in her arms in tears. I was like, just get me home. I've had enough.
Must have been traumatic as well, though. I mean, I'm guessing you went all on your own.
Yeah. And do you know what? When I had the surgery done, I actually was lying in bed and I was thinking, I haven't actually told anyone what hospital I'm in. No one. This could be like another hostel situation. Like they could be bidding against me right now.
And what research did you do before it, though, to make sure you were in safe hands and it was a reputable hospital?
So it all went through the hair transplant place first, and then I said, right, okay, so I want to do this. I'm thinking about this. Who would you recommend? So they sent me over this guy's details. Now in Turkey, it's really difficult to find background checks on surgeons because there's so many of them and it works so differently than over here. So a surgeon is a bit like, when a hairdresser rents a space in a salon, that's what the surgeons do. So they're in 3 or 4 different hospitals and they jump across and they all kind of like watch each other's prices and level up. They never try to outdo each other with prices and that. So to get a background check is really hard. And because there are companies like the one I've just joined that are working on commission, they don't want the surgeon being pestered by people, so they don't give their surname out until later. So it just becomes quite hard. So because I was being filmed by E4, they done a load of checks. They found out loads for me. So I was really, really lucky. But my scar on my tummy is so thin now, and the scarring everywhere else, you wouldn't even know except for the stupid accident I had in the toilet. But apart from that, I'm so happy. But unfortunately, I'm booking in for more, and I might be having more work done in June.
Is this because you've seen the results and you're addicted now?
Yeah, I'm having male pec implants in my chest. Yeah, and I'm having liposuction under my arms to make them really defined.
Wow.
I might get my teeth whitened as well.
So my sister's partner is at the moment right now in Turkey getting a hair transplant.
Amazing.
We just received a photo earlier today. I mean, he won't mind me saying it because he's not exactly going to be able to hide it from anyone because, yourself, your head's a mess. It's covered in a lot of blood spots. Because I wasn't a good candidate for hair transplant. That's why I have what Reese has.
That's what I used to wear. Why aren't you a candidate for it?
So I went for a consultation in Glasgow at a very reputable hair transplant clinic, and I didn't go with my hair system on. I went bald, and they looked and said I didn't have a good donor area at the back. They said it wouldn't give me the results that I wanted. I needed far too much grafts and it wouldn't be enough. So they said the results, I would probably need 2 transplants, and they weren't guaranteed. So I was just like, and he quoted me £8,000 at a time. So I was like, well, I don't have £8,000 now, nor do I then have 16,000.
Wow.
And for you not to guarantee it, I was like, this is not, I'll just stick with the hair systems.
Wow.
So yeah, I
Wow,
wasn't a good
bloody hell.
candidate. So
What a
I'm
different-
really hopeful that my sister's man is a success. Just because you're here, I mean, it wasn't even that long ago, and it's already a big difference.
Yeah,
Was it
like
2 months?
yeah, like it's all coming through massively. I went through the shedding stage a little bit, but yeah, it's literally just growing really well. I've had to cut the back down because it's growing. That was growing at a faster speed because I didn't have that transplanted. But yeah, it just grew so quick. But it's so funny because especially because the amount of work I had done, I looked ridiculous. So you're in the hotel and you're like, okay, I'm gonna get up at like 6:45 in the morning and be the first in the queue for that buffet breakfast so that I can just eat loads and just sleep and no one will see me. Well, everyone else had the bloody same idea, didn't they? So because everyone has had surgery, it was like, Hotel Transylvania, it was like that. It was just everyone everywhere, bandaged up, bleeding here, packing each other, like helping each other because they've had a tummy tuck, all this. But the amount of men having hair transplants is just unbelievable. And beard transplants as well. Like,
It's huge because it's
Yeah.
a lot
I
of celebrities
want a beard
too.
I reckon celebrities have been having it for years. And it's so, affordable now. Like, a hair transplant, 1,500, done.
Really,
Sorted.
instead of 8,000 in the UK.
8,000. Why would you even pay that in the UK? Do you know what I mean? Now
I
that
mean,
you know.
that might have just been my case because apparently I would need so much, but no, £8,000.
I'm happy so far, but it does feel slightly different.
Yeah.
So it just feels
Is
a
it
little
not
bit
like
coarser.
baby hairs? I got told it's like baby hairs, and then they fall out and then regrow. Is that right?
Yeah, so it doesn't always fall out. Some people, it hasn't all fallen out of mine. I went through a little bit of a shedding stage, but then it comes back like phallus hair, and then it starts thickening up. So yeah.
So there you go, Lee. Do you want one?
I've thought about it many times, and I've even thought someone like you. I've always wanted to have long hair, like surf dude hair or something, this, that, and the other, but I've just fed up. I'd rather have a beard graft and have more filled here, I think.
Well,
Yeah, because
apparently that's the thing.
they like that perfect line, don't they? In Turkey, they're very much into their symmetrical. And there was loads of women having hair transplants done. Loads.
Yeah. It's not
Loads
just
and
men.
loads. No, not at all.
So when I was watching your Facebook lives and going back over some of the comments, you got quite a few negative comments as well. People not quite understanding what you're doing, saying, why would you do this to yourself? You're beautiful as you are. And giving you, I wouldn't say they were giving you hate, but they were not really understanding where you were coming from. Do you receive a lot of that still now?
I don't receive it now. At the time I did, but it was a case of, I was just educating them. Like they'd say this to me and then I'd private message them saying, right, this is why I'm having it done, and I'm doing this for me because I could do anything with makeup. I can make myself look beautiful, with loads of like blusher, everything. And I'm used to that. But this was more of a Gary thing. Like I was just getting more and more down, and I'd just come out of quite an abusive relationship as well. And it was just the mental side of that abuse that I was receiving just pulled me down so much. I just thought, do you know what? In the new year, I'm going to leave him in the past and the old face in the past, and I'm just going to move forward and start getting myself out there. So I started creating my own Gary Instagram, which I don't publicise loads, but it is out there, and it's just quite nice having nothing drag on there. So yeah, it's quite good. It's a nice break just to flip over there and just get away from drag for a little bit.
Oh yeah.
Touching on the social media side of things just then, so what are your feelings towards social media, especially Instagram, on how they portray body image?
Right, so the one thing that really, really winds me up about everything else I can kind of deal with, because I think it has eased up a lot since the 90s. And there's people like Lizzo, and she's showing off her curves. And I'm going to be honest, if you can embrace your body like that, hands up to you. That is absolutely amazing. I wish I could. I just can't. But there's an app that keeps on getting advertised, and I just think it should be banned. And it's like they show this man, and they're putting pecs on him, and they're putting abs on him, and then putting his waist.
I've seen it. Yeah.
It drives me mad because it's the problem with this whole body image thing is bringing out an app that can do that. It's just ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. And I don't know, talking to people about surgery is fine, but I would never approach someone and say, you should have this done, you should have that done.
No.
Always let them come to me first, and then I'll talk them through it, and I can barter them with the surgeons and get the best price. So yeah.
But you've seen that app. People who don't necessarily think they've got anything wrong with their body or already think their body's not perfect, if they see similarities in the before of them and this app is saying this is something that needs to be fixed, of course it can have a negative impact on their mental health and their self-esteem. It's awful. And the same can be said as well, and no disrespect to you, Shyanne, but I know some people who post up before and after pictures, especially body before and after pictures. And if they have the tagline, look how much I've increased my muscle, I'm so much happier now, great. But it's when they post up their before pictures and say, look how awful my body looked before, look how this, blah, blah, blah. And people like me and other people are looking at their before going, that body they're posting up before is similar to mine, or it's actually better than mine. And you're showing that before picture is something to be ashamed of. It's something to aspire to get away from. And you kind of come away from that going, I'm not going to like this post and I'm not going to applaud you for that because you've just worded it in a different way.
Yeah.
It would have been better. But you've made people come away from that feeling shit about their own bodies. And that's probably not what your goal was to do. It was probably to do the opposite.
Yeah. I'm still embarrassed to put my before and afters of my body up. Because I just can't bring myself to show people the before pictures, even though I don't have that anymore. I'm still quite ashamed of the way my body was, and I haven't seen the before pictures for a long time. It was only about a week ago that I was bored on the train going up to London. I was just flicking through, let's do some before and afters, and I was looking at it and I was like, oh my god, like I'm so embarrassed by the way it is, and that's my inner saboteur regarding the whole body image thing with myself. I just can't bring myself to show. I've shown a couple of friends and stuff, but to put it up online, it's
am I not right in saying that E4 will be showing the before and after?
They haven't got the befores.
Oh, have they not?
No, okay. This was before my first tummy tuck. So right. Yeah, and since then it got a bit better. So they'll show the before the Turkey one, but not the before the Poland. So, but I even had a professional photo shoot, which I told my photographer I'm not allowed to see the pictures. But one of them was I was doing the plank and I was just wearing underwear and I could feel the skin touch the floor.
Oh, really?
Yeah, really, really bad. Really, really bad. So, and I can't bring myself to see it, even though I don't have it anymore. So there's a saying, a healthy body image doesn't mean achieving a specific appearance. It means feeling comfortable with your body as it is. Mm-hmm. How do you feel about that statement? I think it's true. It's like what I just said about Lizzo. Like, she's so body confident and so amazing. Although, gotta say, like, even you could be really, really confident and really happy with your body, but holding that amount of weight, there is a health issue there as well.
Yeah, of course.
So you've got to make sure that you do get your checkups with your doctor and make sure that you're looking after yourself. You might just naturally be big. Yeah. It just might naturally be. You could eat all the healthy food in the world, but you just naturally might be big. But
there's a balance. There's a responsibility for people who are on the public eye to portray the average body size. There's also responsibility to show what is healthy, and it's getting that balance right. It's the in-between that we don't see a lot of, because that's most people, women in the UK, what's the average size? 14, 16? Yeah. Those, I think, because it's the most people in the UK, for example, that should be everywhere, but it's not. Yeah. And it's about getting the balance, because we don't need to see people who are size 22. We don't need to see people who are size 2 and 4 and 6. We need to see the people that most people are, and that could be healthy. Yeah, I agree. I think there needs to be things like, for example, item of clothing. It would be nice to see an image, like, for example, I don't know, I'm going to say Marks and Spencer. I don't know why I'm saying Marks and Spencer, because I'd never shop in there for clothes anyway. But it'd be nice to see if they had a dress in like they were advertising this dress, they had it on a size, maybe a size 12, maybe they had a size 16, maybe they had a size 22, but have all three of them beside each other so that girls or women, that are a bigger size can see what it would look like on them for real. That's absolutely great. But to say, be proud of your body, eat what you like, do this, blah, 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 like, it's not healthy. So, no. And we're getting better. We are getting better.
Yeah.
there's still companies that it's still wrong. And I think because of social media, especially Instagram, how they portray body image is 9 times out of 10 wrong. And I speak to my niece, for example, who's only 10 years old, and she's already having issues with how she's feeling about how she looks. And I've got my other friend who has got a daughter who is the same, who said, "Oh, I think I'm fat," and she's only 12 years old. And I'm like, where's that coming from? It's coming from what she's seeing other people posting up on their Instagram and what the perfect body should look like. So whilst it's great some companies are posting up, more plus size or average women, and showing slim, medium, larger ladies all together, so people at home can be like, "Oh, well, I'm actually quite skinny naturally, that's me," or "I'm bigger, that's me." That's not all the time on social media, I don't think.
There was a girl that used to work in my salon, and she used to get quite upset with the whole body image thing out there because she's naturally really thin, and she loves it. Like, she's happy with her body. She loves being really thin. She had that kind of quirky retro kind of look.
Yeah.
But she was like, "Well, it's all right. It's all well and good saying like bigger is, it's okay to be big, but don't start then looking at people like her saying, well, she must always be dieting. She must be this. She must be that." Because
exactly.
It works both sides.
It does work both ways, absolutely.
Unfortunately, I don't think it's ever going to fully change. There's always going to be someone out there putting the other person down. It's just, it's human nature. You can't, if you think it's going to change, that the only way it's going to change if we're all robots, really.
Yeah.
So,
when you
Very
touched
true.
on about the fact, growing up in the 90s, noughties, this, that, and the other, I remember I actually looked back when we did our body image episode. I looked back on photos of me, and I thought to myself, "Lee, you look anorexic." But my mindset back then, being like in my teens and gay, thinking, "Oh, now I look fat." And that is still my mindset now, but I'm a lot bigger than what I was back then.
yeah.
And I just don't really give a shit anymore.
We all suffer from a little bit of body dysmorphia. Absolutely. I think you'll struggle to find someone who doesn't. Me looking back when I lived and worked in Egypt, I was so slim. But I remember thinking back then I was still big. And all my friends and family were saying, "Oh my gosh, you look like a lollipop, you're so skinny." And back then I still thought I was big. I was wearing extra small t-shirts and like 30 regular jeans. Whereas now I feel just the way I did back then, but I'm, a hell of a lot bigger. And I still can't believe, looking back at photos, I thought I was big. I'm like, what? So I think a lot of people can relate to what you just said, Lee. Absolutely.
But even today, like I done the work that I had to do today, and then I thought, "Oh, I'm just going to nip over and get some food." And I thought, "Oh no, I can't eat that. I can't eat that. No, I've got a diet. I've got a." Even now, like, I've had all this work done. My tummy and my sides and stuff have never been so toned, and even in drag, like, I'm getting my midriff out now in most of my pictures, and I've never done that in my life. But even now, I'm still going over to Tesco's and stuff, going, right, okay, so I can't have bread, I can't do this, I can't, and it's still in my mindset that I must lose weight, and it's not gonna go, and I've tried.
But you've now
everything.
got your ideal that you want. It's holding on to it that will probably create a lot of anxiety for you.
Massively. So, and it's like already, like I've messaged my surgeon saying, right, so whilst I'm under and getting these pec implants and have a bit of lipo there, can I just have a little bit more lipo on my tummy area just to get in, and it's
Do you think how you feel is healthy?
I don't know any other way of feeling, so I wouldn't be able to say yes or no to that. I don't know if it's other people think this naturally, or I don't know, because I think about it all the time.
But does it not concern you?
Yes and no. I don't know, because I've got my triggers for bulimia, and things can set me off. Chinese food is one of them, weirdly enough, and it's because that was my go-to, because it was so easy to throw up when I was in the height of bulimia in my teens. So that's my trigger. And someone talking about dieting whilst I'm eating, that's another trigger. So the triggers are there, and it, like, the last time I threw up was probably 2 weeks ago. It doesn't go away. Like, bulimia is with you for life. That is it. But a trigger could just happen, and it would just so happen I was watching a movie, and someone threw up on the thing. I think it was Casualty actually, but someone got sick and it triggered me off, so my dinner came up. And it's just this. I just have to live with it. It's a part of me. So yeah.
Have you had any support for it?
Yeah, I've had counselling, and they were quite happy with the way that I've coped with it, and they're happy that I recognise the triggers.
Okay.
It's just unfortunate sometimes you don't know when them triggers are coming.
Yeah.
Like when I was watching that TV thing and it popped up really, really quickly, and it was like boom, done. So yeah.
Okay.
Do you feel like after you say had your last surgery, is it like a euphoria, like a big happiness feeling after you've had it done? So do you think, once you have your next surgery that you're going to have done, is it like a drug type thing? Do you think you'll continue to keep having surgical procedures?
I think you think it is, and you think it's going to be that way, but when you're going through it and you're actually in the moment, it's a lot different. It's not so, because you kind of think to yourself, oh my god, like I'm gonna have the body I've always wanted all my life. I'm gonna have this body. But when you go through it, one, you've got the pain, so you know it's going to take a while, and then you start getting used to seeing yourself, and the inner self of you doesn't change. So those feelings aren't as excitable as you think they're going to be. I think if I woke up tomorrow if I had my pec implants and the lipo done and all that, I think I'd still be like, right, okay, it's all right. Yeah, it looks good on a t-shirt. What else can I have done? And it's just like you're looking for that perfection that you've got in your head. And, even looking at the before and after pictures of my face, it's like everything's level, everything's pulled up. My face looks younger than what it did before. But now I've become such a customer of looking at my face in the mirror, I've lost that excitement that, it's...
You think you'll never be 100% fully satisfied with your appearance?
Yeah, I'll be 6 foot under.
Oh god!
I'm gonna make a fabulous corpse. I am. I'm gonna look so fabulous. I'm gonna ask them to stuff me. That's what it is. I'm gonna hire some taxidermy. Yeah, I don't know. I just want to. The last thing I want to do is go down the Madonna route. When I'm trying to look like a teenager. I don't want to look like a teenager. I just want to. I don't know. Make sure. The biggest thing is I want everything balanced. My eyes were off balance. My nose was crooked and stuff like that. So having all that done is amazing. But I really want to keep on top of that now. So having treatments, laser, all that kind of stuff, just to make sure it looks fresh. I want to make sure that I look good getting older. I don't necessarily want to try to look like a teenager.
Your goal for all these surgeries is to what? Is to feel confident? Is to what? Feel happy when you look in the mirror? Or
I think it was and it is for myself. It really is. I don't want you to think differently with what I'm about to say, but to actually have compliments as Gary.
And not Shyanne.
Yeah. Like there was... at my new residency, there was a girl from Love Island there, and Christ, she was beautiful. But to see her in person, she was absolutely cracking. And we had some pictures together, and we looked really good, really, really great, like Shyanne and her. Her name's Amy, by the way. And when I went in and got changed, and I came out and said my goodbyes, she was like, "Oh, you look so handsome." Oh. And it was really nice to hear that, especially from someone. She's around so many beautiful people, and for her to say that, I was just like, "Oh,
Amy Hart."
Yeah, and she really was lovely, and she's stayed in contact since. And she really was lovely, and she's around so many good-looking people. And for her to say that, I was just like, "Oh, that's really nice." She didn't need to say that. That was really lovely. Thank you. So I was buzzing a little bit, and that's what I mean. Because when I was in my 20s, I was a bit of a twink, blonde hair, green eyes, tanned, and like I could work that room. And then in my 30s, I started noticing it disappearing, and then I started drag, and then dating as a drag queen is quite hard anyway. But it was like I just want to kind of get those compliments back and feel confident again as myself. So yeah,
definitely harder in the gay world.
Oh my God. Ridiculous.
Just touching on like what you just spoke about just then, and don't get offended by this at all. It's just something that I just
You can't offend me, babe.
Is Gary jealous of Shyanne?
Used to be.
Really?
Yeah, when I started drag in '99 in Ireland, my persona got so big because I looked so much like a girl when I was younger in drag. So I went everywhere. I was on the BBC. I was on RT television. I was on a billboard in Dublin at one point. I was just everywhere. And then I was like, everyone wants her. No one wants me. And I just started to resent her more than being jealous of her. I started to resent her. So I done a big finale show and just packed her away for so many years. So, but yeah, I was just too young to be able to juggle the two. I think with age I was able to later on, but there was more resentment rather than jealousy.
And have you always wanted to be a boy? You've never wanted to be
interesting question.
Yeah, I know. So I don't want to be one of these people that have gone like you said earlier about the pronouns and stuff. I don't want to start labeling myself because I'm me. I'm not a label. But the whole non-binary thing, I didn't really get it, and then I kind of got it, and then I didn't get it again, and then I got it. But I see myself as a person. I don't see myself as having to be a specific gender. So it's like, I don't know. I suppose I see myself as a guy, but when I am dressed up, I see myself more as a female. So kind of like, it's a weird one. And maybe I need to start my own pronoun.
Well, I just found it interesting, Shyanne, because all your social media presence is Shyanne. Am I right in saying there's not a Gary?
There is. Gary's profile is private.
Right. Okay. So you have one.
I do have one. I have got two different Instagrams. My Gary Instagram isn't private, but the Shyanne one, like, social media is work for me. So it's like, that's why she's out there more than Gary. Gary's kind of there to chat to or show off a new shirt or something like that. But the whole Shyanne thing, that's work. Like, venues would look at my social media page, see how many followers I've got, and go, oh, we'll book her because, you know, it'd be great for their social media and stuff. So I always need to kind of like force the Shyanne bit out there a bit more. So
makes sense.
But I'm not against if a guy is like, oh, can you dress up for me? And I'll come around. I'm like, oh, you're cute. Yeah, okay.
So is Shyanne straight?
Yes. Oh, look at me, it's straight. Oh, it feels weird. I feel like spitting on myself.
Straight? What is that? Ew.
Yeah, Shyanne pulls a good-looking guy.
Okay. Well, Shyanne you're beautiful, Gary, but Shyanne is also stunning. Like, we will be posting photos up on Instagram. We'll do a before and after of your face that you sent me as well, just to so people can see what it is you're talking about. But moving away, this is a question for all of us. Moving away from physical appearance, what would we all say we appreciate most about our bodies? So for me, like, I personally like the fact that I have quite good stamina. And, like, for example, I can dance for hours and not having to really stop. And I also have a really good, strong immune system. I'm very rarely sick. So all of those things are nothing to do with how I look.
Mm-hmm.
For you both, what would you say you appreciate most about your bodies apart from how you look? Shyanne?
One thing recently I've learned is healing. Like, I heal super quick, super quick. Even my surgeon was like, "What are you doing?" You know, it's crazy. But healing, and also, I don't know if this is the inner. It's like helping others. Don't know if that falls into it.
Well, it's a character trait.
Yeah,
it's a good thing to have. But yeah,
inside my bodies, I would say healing.
Healing.
Yeah, yeah.
Lee,
I've got a very good defense mechanism.
I think that's really lovely. I'd love that.
Yeah.
I overthink everything. Everything.
I still overthink things. But then,
you see, you've got inner strength, basically. You can appreciate your inner strength. Okay.
In most areas of my life, anyway.
What would you say needs to change to help people to start to love their own body? In your opinion, Shyanne?
For me or others?
Both.
For me, I don't know.
Okay.
And because I don't know with myself, I can't really say for anyone else, really. Yeah, I wouldn't be able to. I'd be a hypocrite, I think, if I was to say this is how to do this to love yourself and that.
Well, so. to give everyone kind of a bit more of a understanding why people dislike our own bodies. I did some research, and there's a lot of contributing factors that make loving your own body difficult. And we've already kind of touched on quite a few already. The main one is the media.
Mm-hmm.
So the media, we're surrounded by thin models and TV stars. We are taught to achieve an impossible goal a lot of the time. And apparently, doing the research here, we watch 22 hours of TV. The average person watches 22 hours of TV a week. And a lot of what we are consuming are characters with perfect bodies. So the most sought after female characters are usually fat-free with perfect skin. And the most celebrated male bodies are handsome, six-pack supporting types. The same can be said about front covers of magazines. You know, it's very rare to see an average size man or woman. So is it any wonder we all struggle when our own body types are never shown to be celebrated, which we spoke about earlier? So media, huge thing. But also Western society places a high value upon appearance. Like self-worth is enhanced for those who are judged as attractive people. Those who are deemed unattractive can feel at a disadvantage. The message from the media, fashion, and even our peers can create a longing to win the approval of our culture and to fit in at any cost. And that can be disastrous to our self-esteem. But also, what I find very interesting as well, parents. So parents can give messages, mixed messages too, especially if your parents are constantly dieting or have body or food issues of their own. How we perceive and internalize these childhood messages about our bodies determines our ability to build self-esteem and confidence in our own appearance. So, for example, my mother, I love her to bits, but she's always struggled with her weight. She's a constant yo-yo dieter, up and down. She'll admit this herself to anybody. And she weighs herself every day. And when she's got a goal, she'll strive to lose a certain amount of weight. But throughout my whole life, we've watched my mum up and down on diets, constantly worried about what she's eating, and then feeling guilty about eating something bad. So it can definitely be passed on, because me and my siblings, we've all kind of struggled with our weight and how we look at food and diets. Which brings me on to the final thing, is the diet and fitness craze in the UK, and not just in the UK, in the world, is mind-boggling. It's not just dieting, it's diet foods, it's diet adverts. Everybody is counting calories. All you need to do is listen to the conversations in the work canteen, in the gym locker room, or even on the bus to school. They talk a lot of the time centers around dieting, fat thighs or tight abs, or how much that person's put on weight on holiday, how much that person's lost weight. Let's applaud them. And who's on the biggest, the most successful diet fad that's everyone's talking about just now. So this kind of intense focus on food and fat can lead to abnormal eating habits or even eating disorders. But all these diet companies, etc., are here to make money. And we all forget that. Their goal is to make you feel negative thoughts towards your body in order to reach out to them and buy their diet products or sign up to their weight loss program. That's how they make money. They prey on our desire to hit that perfection that we're told is what we should all be aspiring for. So the diet industry in the UK alone is worth an estimated £2 billion a year. So they don't want us all to get the perfect body. They want us to always be like, no, what can I be doing? Let's join Weight Watchers. Let's go and slim fast. Let's do all these things, because without us feeling negative about our bodies, they wouldn't exist.
Mm-hmm.
So there are a lot of factors that make us struggle to be positive about our bodies. So we're all screwed.
I'm not. I get it cut off.
Yeah, so the example that Shyanne's setting here is just go and have surgery.
Yeah. I think the biggest thing that helped me with my weight loss was cutting out, not cutting out, but cutting right down on sugar. My weight just started to drop massively just because of that. And then alcohol, I don't drink that much at all. I stay away from desserts. I love Greek yogurt or something like that. But even just by doing that, I'm able to eat what I want. But just by cutting down on the whole sugar thing, having such a small amount of it makes such a difference. But that's my body type. It's learning it's learning about what works for your body type, because all our genetics are different. But if that works for me, it might not work for you, but it might work for Lee. So it's like, you know, and then go down that route. So, but all these diet clubs, it's just, I think the only thing that works about those diet clubs is the group meeting and not feeling embarrassed that you haven't lost weight. That's the only difference.
Yeah,
so,
the support that you get.
Yeah, I think if there was a support group, but there wasn't a diet fad linked to it, that might be just enough.
Yeah.
And then people would do it their own way.
I know myself. You know yourself when you've put on weight. You know by your clothes. You know, and this is the thing. Like, you've got to just do what's right for you. Everything in moderation. I know myself personally how to lose weight. I've done it before. I know how to eat healthy. I know what works for my body to get fit. Yeah. It's like everything else. It's the motivation that you just... That's the hardest part. And
those weighing scales are the worst thing. They need to go in the bin.
Yes.
They're for food and food only. Never weigh yourself.
100%. When you look at pictures of you before and after, that's what's most important.
Yeah.
You know, how you feel and how you look is more so than what it says on the scales.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely.
What advice would you give to someone that's, say, struggling with their own body image?
I think... what we touched on earlier, I think one thing you need to be grateful for the other things in your life. Like I didn't know about the healing with me. I didn't know I healed that quick, but I was very grateful of the fact that, I don't know, like I'm quite a positive person a lot of the time, and you know, I don't know, there's things like I can make my garden grow. I'm good at cooking. I'm good at this. You know, I'm a popular drag queen, and you know, all that side of it. Be grateful of things that you're in your life first. Try to overcome them, but if you can't, then start reaching out to other avenues. Like, I've tried everything. Skin ain't gonna tone up in the gym. If you've got that much loose skin, the only way of really getting rid of it is surgery.
Yeah.
So, and doctors will even say that. So, you know, it's just one of those things. Like a woman that's had a baby, that, like, I've got friends that skin has bounced back, but it's more common for it to just hang there. So, and you know, women just, and that's why women get things like the baby blues, and they're embarrassed by their bodies for the rest of their lives afterwards and stuff like that. So, you know, so sometimes surgery is the only option to get the body that either you had before or that you've always wanted. So
yeah. So when I was doing my research as well, there was a little bit that said there's some exercises to help build a more positive body image. So just a couple of them said here is to ask yourself, if my body could talk to me right now, what would it say? For you, Shyanne, I'd like, stop cutting me open.
Leave me alone. Stop getting your tattooers to doodle all over me as well. I honestly feel like my body would say to me, we're nearly there.
We're nearly there.
Yeah, it's at my face. There's nothing more I would do to my face. Like, I'm done.
So, Lee, what would your body say to you right now if it could talk?
Delete the Just Eat app. Go to the gym after work. Don't just go home.
So you think it would say, take better care of me?
Yeah.
But you've got to tell us yours, Gareth. What is your body?
Oh, mine would be the same as you, Lee. It would just be like, look after me better and appreciate the things that I like about it. And that's the hardest part, I think, is
really hard.
So, and that's coming up here. When you look in the mirror, make yourself find at least one good point for every demerit you give and become aware of your positives. So this is one of the things it says you should do is stand naked or whatever in front of the mirror. And you have to find the positives in your body, because naturally you'll immediately go to look at my love handles, look at my scar, look at my boobs, look at this. Everything you hate, you immediately do it. You then have to find something you find positive about it and focus on it. You know, I like the fact that I'm hairy. I like my tattoos or anything. Find something about your body, even if it's just your eyes or something that you think is positive, and focus on it, because we're so quick to be negative about our bodies. So that's one of the tasks to do. And it's saying here, decide which of the cultural pressures, glamour, fitness, thinness, media, peer groups prevent you from feeling good about yourself. How about not buying the fashion magazines which promote unrealistic body images, or bin the bathroom scales? All these little things that aid your negative body image. do something about it. And it's saying exercise gets high marks when it comes to breeding positive body feelings. It makes us feel better about our appearance and improves our overall health and mood. And I can 100% agree with that. Emphasize your assets. You've got lots. Give yourself credit for positive qualities. If there are some things you want to change, remember self-discovery is a long process. So like you said, Shyanne, you like how kind you are to people. You've got great ambition. So focus on those things as opposed to how much you hate your body. And all these things are easier said than done.
Come on, Councillor Gareth. I might lay down and listen to this.
I should be charging for this episode. Make friends with the person you see in the mirror. Say, I like what I see. I like me. Do it until you believe it. God, I'd be there for weeks. Ditch dieting and ditch the sad scales. We've spoken about this. These are 2 great ways to develop a healthy relationship with your body and weight. Challenge size bigotry and fight size discrimination whenever you can. Don't speak of yourself or others with phrases like fat slob, pig out, or thunder size. Be an example to others by taking people seriously for what they say, feel, and do rather than how they look. Accept the fact your body is constantly changing. It is a work in progress. Don't let every new inch or curve throw you off the deep end. You know you are successful when you can look in the mirror and instead of asking what's wrong with it, and say, there's nothing really wrong with me. And little by little, you'll find you can stop disliking your body. Quit worrying about what others think of you. If you want to change your body, do it for yourself and no one else. Like you, Shyanne, that's what you've said. And this is the starting point. It is from this new way of looking at a problem that we can begin to feel better about ourselves. Make this the time to accept the natural dimensions of our bodies instead of drastically trying to change them. We can't exchange our bodies for a new one. So the best thing is to find peace with the one we have. Your body is where you're going to be living the rest of your life. Isn't it about time you make it a home? Oh, how cringe is that? But it's like, you can't change it. I was like, well, I'm sure you'll find Cheyenne's change.
Yeah. Who wrote this? I'm writing them a letter.
You can so change it. I've done it. I've changed it all. So, I mean, if you want to change it, change it. And if you're not happy with your body, find a way to be happy with your body. If you've got the money to do it and you're happy to go and get surgery for yourself, no one else, do it. And don't judge other people who do decide to do surgery, because it's up to them whether or not they do it. And if it makes them happier and they're not hurting anyone, what problem is it?
Exactly.
So anything else I'd like to add here, guys?
No.
I think we've covered quite a big ground on cosmetic surgery. Yeah, like body image is not something, as you say, Shyanne, that's going to be fixed overnight. It's something that, you know, companies in the media are getting better at portraying different kinds of sizes and everything, but we're still a long way to go.
But taking in mind, this has been that, like, from the beginning of time, it's been there.
Yeah.
But it was the other way around. Like, it was seen to be very beautiful to be bigger. To medieval times, like for a woman to have a high forehead was seen as complete beauty. Do you know what I mean? Like, they used to bleach their skin, they used to do this, they used to do that. There's so many things. It's like when I went to India years ago, in all the supermarkets they've got this thing called white and lovely, but over here we've got dark and lovely. Because the Indians are trying to lighten their skin, we're trying to darken our skin. Like, everyone is altering things and trying to do different things the whole time. It's never going to completely go away. It's how, as a person, how you can cope with it. I think that needs to be concentrated on more, rather than about if there's a skinny model walking down the catwalk. Maybe more
to love the body that we've got, or will eventually get once we've paid the money for it.
Exactly.
Amen.
Yeah.
Shyanne, where can we see you on? You mentioned E4. Is that something this year or next year?
This year. It's this summer. So it's going to be on a program. Not sure of the name yet. They didn't have a name for it the last time I checked in with them. But I will be putting it all over my socials as soon as I know. But it's about body image. It's I think there's about 10 or 12 episodes. They've got quite a long season in there. But each episode is going to be talking to different people about different things. Like, there's going to be someone that's bigger and she embraces her curves and she just loves her body. We were talking about Lizzo and stuff. And then I'm talking about the aspect of the fact that I don't want to accept my body. I know that I can change it. I'm doing this and doing that, and and so that episode's going to be all about me, and then someone else is going to be about someone that's very skinny, who's naturally skinny, and stuff like that. So it's going to be interesting because the whole season is going to be about everyone. It's really, really cool. So it's not focusing on just surgery or just bigger. Yeah, so it's hitting all aspects of it. So it's going to be quite an interesting watch.
When you advertise it yourself, we'll share it as well, just to make sure.
Yeah, fabulous, absolutely fabulous. So yeah.
And your Instagram, Facebook, it's just Shyanne O'Shea?
It is. It's at Shyanne_O'Shea.
Okay, we'll make sure we share those links as well.
Fabulous.
Okay, so before we go, every episode we do a spin the wheel. We have our glamorous...
Oh, I thought it was going to be spin the bottle.
Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry to disappoint. We do have a glamorous assistant, not quite as glamorous as Shyanne. But Tiffany, are you ready to spin the wheel, Tiff?
Tiffany is ready.
Right, here we go. Let's spin it. So this week, would you rather accidentally send nudes to your parents or to your boss? And if you don't have a boss, if you had one. Shyanne.
See, now you've just corrected yourself.
I was like, Shyanne's self-employed. But if you had a boss...
I think I'd send them to my mother and just hide her glasses.
That's cheating, but okay, well, I'll allow it. Lee?
At my boss.
Your boss?
Yeah.
Why?
Because he's already done it.
I cannot confirm or deny anything.
I think I would do parents as well because it's nothing they've not seen before. So I think my boss, I think I like my job, so I don't want to lose my job. It's easier to get out of sending a silly picture to your parents than try to explain it to your boss. Yeah. As always, guys, you can reach us reallifegaze.com. Find us on our socials. Links are all on our website. Next week will be our last episode of this season, and then we'll be having a few weeks break and coming back for season 2 some point in the summer. So thank you so much for joining us, Shyanne. I've absolutely loved it.
More than welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I've been Gareth.
And I've been Lee.
See you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.